In this session, we'll be doing some product experiments. It's always nice when you can experiment on product variations quickly. Let's get started. First off, let's go look at the high-low manual flexion table. The first experiment we're going to do is we have a hypothesis that having the table color selection before the headpiece could increase conversion. So let's go ahead and create that experiment. So first off, you can tag tables. So if I do high-low flex, I can quickly filter for that table. And now I want to make an alternate version of this table. So you can quickly duplicate the table. Now let's give that new copy a name. We're going to call this copy version B for our A/B test. Now in our test, we want to really sort the color component in front of the headrest. So there's a button here that allows you to sort components. Let's do that. And now let's take the color and move it above the headrest. Click OK and then update. So now you can see we've got our color component above the headrest. Let's go ahead and deploy that. Now let's quickly take a look at the high-low flexion table, order online, and you can see table color is at the top before we get into the headpiece and the drops. So we could leave this out for some period of time. And then when we're done our A/B test, there's many different A/B testing tools. Depending on which versions of these tables worked, we could delete the other one. Let's go ahead and we're going to delete this one, and we're going to go, let's say this test failed and people preferred the headrest. So to do that, we can just simply delete this recipe and deploy out the original. And now we're back to normal. Now let's do a more complex test. So I'm going to look at the EA-HY table. So in this test, I'm going to show you how you can make a more sophisticated A/B test. So this table has many height options, and our speculation is that currently it's not the clearest to the user. So the EA-HY has a couple options for height. Now we speculate again that this is not the best experience for the user. There's a fixed height option, in which case you can pick from a number of different heights. There's a pump. This is where the doctor uses the foot to pump the table height up and down. And then you can choose between two different heights. And then with the elevation option, there are a number of elevation heights that can be used as well. Now let's go back to Gravity Cloud. And what we're going to do is create a new version, a B version of this exact table. So we'll duplicate it. We're going to relabel this to be the B copy for the A/B test. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to add in a new component. So see this height stationary pump? I've created a new version of this component with gravity forms. I'll just pull it in quickly. So it's called the component height stationary pump version B. So now that it's in there, I'm going to do sort component, and I'm going to move this right above the other component. Right there, right above it. And I'm going to click OK, and then I'm going to delete the A version. So now I've swapped out the height component. I'm going to click Update. And what I'm going to do now is deploy this again. And keep in mind we're deploying to staging. Once that's deployed, let's go back to our staging server. And now let's compare the user experience. So if we go to the EA-HY table, and we go order online, choose table height. And now it's much more obvious. You've got either a fixed height table, and then you can select your table height and you can see all the heights all together. You don't have to kind of pick a drop down. You can do the pump elevation, and then you've got your pump heights. Or you can do electric elevation, in which case you can do the 18 to 26, so forth. And because it's electric elevation, we've pulled up the cordless power and the extra battery option. So you can see this gives you much more control, and we think this will be a far superior experience. So that's the difference. What we would do now is we'd run this experiment for a number of weeks, and then contrast the version A compared to version B. I highly speculate version B will win. So what we would do then would be then propagate that to pre-prod and then to production. But as you can see, the point of the experiment, You can quickly duplicate a product, regardless of how complex it is, swap out, reorder, or do anything with the components, then run the test for a period of time and determine which is the better result with your users.